everyone, my name is Amir Nusufia binti Faisal, matrix number 24223823, and I'll start off the video by answering question 7.1. Discuss the 6 key concepts defining organization design. The key concepts of organization design describes how an organization structures its jobs, authority, and decision-making to achieve its goals effectively. The first is work specialization. Instead of having employees do everything, tasks are divided so people can focus on specific responsibilities. This helps employees become more efficient and skilled. For example, in a hospital, doctors, nurses, and pharmacists each focus on different roles. However, organizations need to avoid overspecialization as it can reduce motivation. Next is departmentalization. Once work is divided, jobs must be grouped logically. Organizations may group employees by function, product, or location. For example, a multinational company may organize teams by country to better serve local markets and improve coordination. The third concept is authority and responsibility. This refers to the clear line of authority in an organization. Employees need to know who they report to and who has decision-making authority. For example, workers usually approach their immediate supervisor rather than top management, which helps reduce confusion. The fourth concept is span of control. This looks at how many employees a manager can effectively supervise. Managing too many people can reduce effectiveness, while managing too few can create unnecessary layers. For instance, startups often have wider spans, while large organizations use more structured supervision. The fifth concept is centralization and decentralization. This focuses on where decisions are made. In centralized organizations, decisions are made at the top, while decentralized organizations allow lower-level employees more authority. For example, headquarters may set policies, but store managers handle daily operations. Finally, formalization. Formalization refers to how much organizations rely on rules and procedures. High formalization ensures consistency, while low formalization allows flexibility and innovation. Overall, effective organization design balances the 6 concepts to support efficiency, clarity, and adaptability.
Hi everyone, I'm Rasha binti Ibrahim, metric number 25004112. For 7-2 question, what are the concepts of traditional and contemporary organizational design, and will this design be influenced differently by management and the environment? From my perspective, concept of traditional organizational design consists 3 structures that tend to be more mechanistic in nature. Firstly, simple structure that suits small organization with low departmentalization and wide span of control. The authority is centralized in a single person that usually owner or manager and little formalization. Then functional structure, the employee group by their specialty such as marketing or finance with centralized decision making. For example, finance department manage money, budget and account. Lastly, divisional structure is an organization that divided based on product, service, customer or geography. Each division operates like separate unit with own function. For example, electronic company that sell multiple products like mobile phone and laptop have their own finance team. Next, concept of contemporary organizational design consists 4 structure that helps organizational respond quickly to the change, competition and technology. Firstly, team structure that have employees from different skill but without no line managerial authority from top to bottom. Moreover, metric project structure that allow organization to combine functional and product or project structure. For example, a company that have 2 projects that allow them to assign an engineer to engineering department but also contribute in construction project. This make an employee to report to different manager. Then boundaryless structure that remove barrier between department and external partner. Employee can freely share their opinion across department. It creates strong focus on collaboration and innovation. Lastly, learning structure that use technology to connect employee to work remotely. It allows employee to work from different locations and communicate with using online tools. It also can outsource many functions that can save time, reduce cost and specialized skill. That's all from me.
Hello everyone, my name is Maula Alexandria Malik. My ID is 242117481. So today I will discuss about the compare to the strengths and weakness of a functional structure. What are the strengths and weakness of a simple structure? Okay, first we're gonna talk about the strengths first. So the first one will be the quick managerial decision making. So top manager or often owner can make decision rapidly without bureaucratic delay. And the second one will the clear chain of command, or the meaning is the employees report directly to one manager, reducing confusion and conflict. The third one will be the low administrative cost. It means a fewer manager and less paperwork, lower operating expenses. And the last one is high flexibility, or we can call it the organization can adapt quickly to market change or customer demand. Okay, for now, for the weakness, there are four weaknesses for this question. The first one is the managerial overload. The top manager handles most planning, organizing, and controlling activities. So the manager will overloading because there's so much stuff to do. And the second one will be the limited employee development. The employee will have a fewer opportunities to specialize or advance professionality. And for the second one, will poor fit for complex operation. As the business grow, coordination and control becomes difficult. And the fourth one will be the high risk concentration. Business success depends on heavily on one individual skill and one judgment. So there is a four weakness and four strength. That's all for me. Thank you.
Now I will be answering discussion question 7.4. The design contrast of boundaryless organization and structureless organization. For boundaryless organization, the design is not limited by horizontal, vertical, and external boundaries, but it still has coordination and often using virtual organizations, which is co-employees with external specialists, and network organizations, which is employees with outside suppliers. A good example is Google. Engineers, designers, and marketers work together on a project. Employees can share ideas across the departments. Google also collaborates with external developers and partners. Even though it is flexible, Google still has managers, teams, and clear goals. For structureless organization, it has little or no formal structure at all. So employees do whatever tasks are needed and authority is unclear. It is also has high flexibility but low control and often temporary. For example, a small startup with a few friends sharing all tasks together. So everybody does marketing, finance, and operations together. Also, there is no official manager or job title, and decisions are made casually.
Hi, my name is Alina Natra, matrix number 24052363. Today, I'll be answering discussion question 7.5, which asks to contrast mechanistic and organic organizations. A mechanistic organization is characterized by a rigid and highly formalized structure. Authority is centralized at the top levels of management, and decision-making follows a clear hierarchical chain of command. Communication in mechanistic organizations is primarily vertical, meaning information flows from top management down to employees, and feedback from employees must pass through several managerial layers. In addition, mechanistic organizations rely heavily on formal rules, standardized procedures, and strict role specialization, where employees are expected to perform clearly defined tasks with limited autonomy. This type of organizational structure is most effective in a stable and predictable environment where consistency, efficiency, and control are prioritized. For example, in the airline industry, mechanistic structures are essential for areas such as flight operations, safety protocols, security procedures, and maintenance checks. In these situations, strict adherence to rules is necessary to minimize risk, ensure passenger safety, and comply with regulatory requirements. Employees are expected to follow procedures exactly rather than exercising personal discretion. In contrast, an organic organization has a flexible and less formal structure. Authority is more decentralized, allowing decision-making to occur at multiple levels rather than being concentrated at the top. Communication in organic organizations is largely horizontal, encouraging collaboration and information sharing across departments and roles. There are fewer formal roles, and employees are often multi-skilled, allowing them to take on a wider range of responsibilities. As a result, employees in organic organizations are given greater autonomy and discretion in how they perform their roles. Organic structures are most suitable for dynamic and uncertain environments where organizations must respond quickly to changes and unexpected situations. For example, in the context of an airline, organic structures are particularly useful in customer-facing and service-related situations, such as handling flight delays, overbooking, lost baggage, or passenger complaints. In these scenarios, frontline employees need the flexibility to assess the situation and make immediate decisions to resolve issues effectively, rather than strictly following rigid rules or waiting for managerial approval. In summary, while mechanistic organizations emphasize control, efficiency, and standardization, organic organizations prioritize flexibility, adaptability, and employee empowerment. In practice, large organizations such as airlines often require a balance between both structures, using mechanistic approaches for safety-critical operations and more organic approaches for customer service and problem-solving situations.
Hi, my name is Alicia Kisina, and I'm gonna be summarizing our first case study, which is turbulence at United Air. We see a recurring pattern where rigid rules and lack of empathy led to major customer service failures and also intense public backlash. While the airline often followed formal procedures, they failed to show the flexibility needed to handle human situations ethically. We can look at a few specific examples that triggered this outcry. For instance, 2 teenagers were denied boarding simply for wearing leggings while using the employee travel passes. United's reasoning was that those using travel perks must follow a strict dress code to represent the company professionally. But the public saw this as an unnecessary over-enforcement of rules. However, the most significant turning point was the violent removal of Dr. David Dow. He was forced off an overbooked flight just to make room for the United staff. This incident, which went viral globally, resulted in physical injury to Dr. Dow, a major lawsuit that United eventually settled, and the dismissal of 2 involvement security officers. In the wake of this, United did adjust its involuntary removal policy, specifically targeting passengers with lower fares or later check-in times. Yet another lapse occurred, such as a couple being removed for briefly sitting in non-assigned seats, and a tragic case where a passenger's dog died after being placed in an overhead compartment. Ultimately, what this case teaches us is that employees' actions are a direct reflection of an organization's commitment to being responsible and ethical. When policy is prioritized over empathy, the cost to a brand's reputation can be devastating. Thank you. That is all from me. Now I'm going to pass to my next member.
Hello everyone, my name is Sarah, and now that all of you understand what the case study is about, let's move on to the first question. Evaluate how United Airlines handled each of these incidents. Do you think that United Airlines was within its power to respond the way its employees did? Why or why not? So, based on what we have learned in Chapter 7, authority refers to the formal rights of a position, whereas power refers to the individual's ability to influence decisions. So, in the context of the case study, the phrase within its power refers to United Airlines' formal authority to respond to the incidents the way they did. So this brings us to question. Were employees allowed under company policy to do this? Let's find out together. So for the lagging incident, the airline did have the authority to enforce a stricter dress code for employees who are on past ride. So this is because it was a win-win situation for both parties, where passengers who get to enjoy airline perks are expected to also represent the company professionally so that they can create a positive image. And not to mention that this was also a requirement of a long-standing policy, which means that it is highly likely expected to be obeyed, as the policy has been around for a long time. The gate agent's actions were therefore justified. However, the strict and public defense showed lack of sensitivity and poor communication to the public, causing the organization to get a lot of hate. The second incident was the case of Dr. David Dow. So, United Airlines also had the authority in this incident under its involuntary denial of boarding policy. So, this basically allows the airline to remove passengers during overbooking situations. Nevertheless, the decision to escalate the situation by involving security and forcibly removing the passenger revealed a misuse of authority. So the outcome highlighted how behavior guided by rules and procedures may limit the employee's ability to handle the issue ethically, resulting in negative consequences. Furthermore, in the Houston wedding couple incident, the airline again had legitimate authority, in this case enforcing assigned seats and remove passengers who do not want to comply with the crew instructions. Yet, once again, employees followed the rules without thinking of the outcome, escalating a minor issue that could have been resolved with a simple flexibility. In contrast, the incident involving the dog placed in the overhead compartment was not within United Airlines authority. This is because the company policy explicitly prohibits animals from being stored in overhead bins, indicating that the flight attendant has acted outside its formal authority. So this may be caused by several factors. One of it may be poor communication or lack of training, as well as poor understanding of the company's policy. All in all, I think that United Airlines was indeed within its power in most of the incidents described. However, in a management point of view, United Airlines was not effectively and responsibly using their power. The organization relied too heavily on strict rules, which shows high formalization and centralized decision making. In addition, the mechanistic structure of the organization, where employees prioritize rules over the employee's actual well-being, has discouraged employee discretion and led to outcomes that were technically policy correct, but operationally and ethically they were flawed. That is all from me. I will pass on to the next presenter.
Hi everyone, my name is Almira Sofia binti Faisal, matrix number 24223823, and moving on, I'll be answering question 712. The question asks, how would you describe United Airlines' view of formalization and do you think it is appropriate? Explain. Before answering the question, I'll first like to explain what formalization is. Formalization refers to the extent to which rules, procedures, and guidelines are written, standardized, and strictly enforced within an organization. In highly formalized organizations, employee behavior is guided closely by policies, leaving little room for personal judgment or flexibility. In the case of United Airlines, the company can be described as having a very high level of formalization. Employee actions are heavily governed by formal rules, and strict compliance appears to be prioritized over situational judgment. This high level of formalization is evident throughout the incidents mentioned in the case. For example, the enforcement of a strict dress code for passengers traveling under employee travel privileges shows how rigid and clearly defined the rules are, even in situations that are not related to safety. Similarly, during the David Dow incident, gate agents and flight crew followed the airline's involuntary denial of boarding procedures step by step, prioritizing policy compliance over passenger well-being. The pet incident further highlights how rules were applied without sufficient discretion, ultimately leading to a tragic outcome. In theory, a high level of formalization is understandable in the airline industry. Airlines operate in a highly regulated environment where safety, consistency, and efficiency are critical. Clear procedures help employees make quick decisions, reduce errors, and ensure compliance with aviation regulations. Formalization also promotes fairness by ensuring that rules are applied consistently to all passengers. However, in practice, United Airlines' level of formalization appears to be too rigid. Employees were not empowered to adapt rules to suit the situation, even when flexibility could have prevented harm. This rigidity may have created an environment where employees felt compelled to follow rules at all costs, possibly due to fear of punishment or disciplinary action. As a result, decisions that were technically correct became ethically questionable and severely damaged the company's public image. Therefore, while United Airlines' high formalization is appropriate for operational and safety-related matters, it is not appropriate for customer service situations that require empathy, judgment, and human understanding. Airlines frequently deal with unexpected and emotionally sensitive circumstances, which cannot always be managed effectively through rigid procedures alone. In conclusion, United Airlines should maintain its structured rules but complement them with greater employee discretion and empowerment. By adopting a more balanced approach between formalization and flexibility, the company can improve customer satisfaction, support ethical decision-making, and prevent similar incidents in the future.
Moving on to question 713. In my opinion, the United Airlines needs to consider a combination of both organizational structures and adapt either the mechanistic or organic model according to the appropriate time and situation to ensure that the decisions made are both effective and efficient. First, the United Airlines still need to keep the mechanistic model structure because some formalization and strict rules are necessary for consistency and control. It is efficient for routine, safety-critical, and compliance-driven activity to maximize efficiency. For example, flight maintenance, security, and regulatory compliance. How United Airlines use the mechanistic model is by providing clear rules and SOPs, defining roles and responsibilities, and holding a formal training for their employees. So a mechanistic model with clear rules, formal procedures, centralized decision-making, and a well-defined hierarchy helps ensure consistency, reduce errors, and maintain safety standards. This is essential for operational reliability and cost control, which are key efficient goals for United Airlines. Second, the United Airlines also needs the elements of organic model, especially in customer-facing functions. It is effective for customer service and unexpected situations that will enhance service quality and customer satisfaction. For example, environmental uncertainty, unpredictable customer situations, and high interaction with customers in cabin crew service. How United Airlines use organic model in their organization? It is by giving leeway to allow employees some latitude to make decisions that they feel are best under the circumstance. This allows greater employees' flexibility, decentralized decision-making, and open communication, enabling staff to respond appropriately and empathetically to unique situations without relying on rigid strict rules. In conclusion, by balancing both models according to situational demands, United Airlines can achieve operational efficiency while also improving decision quality, employee behavior, and overall organization effectiveness.
Hi, my name is Alina Natra, matrix number 24052363. Now, I'll be answering question 714, which is, what do you think United Airlines should do in the future? What suggestions or enhancements might you have for its organizational structure? Let's answer the first part of the question first. In my opinion, the organization of United Airlines should increase employee empowerment and discretion, which aligns with Theory Y. Theory Y assumes that employees are inherently motivated, capable of responsibility, and able to exercise sound judgment when given appropriate autonomy. By empowering frontline employees, United Airlines can improve service quality and reduce delays in decision-making. For example, customer service staff and flight attendants could be given the authority to resolve passenger issues such as offering meal vouchers, rebooking flights, or providing compensation during service disruptions without requiring approval from multiple levels of management. This will allow problems to be addressed more efficiently and enhance customer satisfaction. In addition, United Airlines should shift its focus from strict rule enforcement towards a more customer-centric organizational culture, in line with stakeholder theory. Stakeholder theory emphasizes that organizations should consider the interests of all stakeholders, including customers, employees, and the broader public, rather than prioritizing operational efficiency alone. Adopting this perspective can help rebuild trust and improve the company's public image. Another key area for improvement is crisis management and communication, which can be strengthened through ethical leadership theory. Ethical leaders prioritize transparency, accountability, and empathy, especially during times of crisis. For instance, during operational failures or public incidents, timely and honest communication from leadership can help reduce reputational damage and demonstrate organizational responsibility. Now, to answer the second part of the question, in my opinion, as suggestions and enhancements for United Airlines is that they should aim to reduce excessive bureaucracy and encourage greater decentralization, gradually shifting from a purely mechanistic structure towards a more balanced approach that incorporates organic elements. This will allow managers and frontline employees to respond more effectively to situational demands. Furthermore, the organization could introduce clearly defined flexible policy zones guided by contingency theory, where employees are aware of the circumstances under which policies may be adapted. This ensures flexibility while still maintaining organizational control. For example, United Airlines could maintain strict mechanistic procedures for safety critical operations such as aircraft maintenance and security checks, where consistency and control are essential. However, in customer service situations such as handling delayed flights, overbooking, or passenger complaints, the organization could adopt a more flexible approach, allowing employees to adapt policies based on the specific circumstances. This situational flexibility enables the organization to respond more effectively to different operational demands. Finally, United Airlines should revise its performance evaluation and reward systems using principles from reinforcement theory and goal-setting theory. Employees who demonstrate ethical behavior, effective problem-solving, and high-quality customer service should be formally recognized and rewarded. This will reinforce positive behaviors and align employee goals with the organization's long-term objectives. Thank you. That's all from me.
Hi everyone, I'm Nurasha binti Ibrahim, metric number 25004112. For the next question, I'm going to present question 715 about how do employee action reflect an organization's stand as far as being responsible and ethical. In United Airlines case, employee action during turbulence incident at United Airlines revealed the organization commitment to safety protocol, reflecting a responsible stand when the crew prioritized passenger care to reduce chaos. This action exposed the employee is more concerned about the consequence of ignoring rules than ensuring ethical human treatment of customer. For example, in the case of 2017 about Dr. David Diao was forcibly removed from a United Airlines flight that was overbooked. The incident went viral and caused global criticism of United Airlines. This demonstrates that United Airlines employees act according to company policy but without ethical judgment. Employee action reflects an organization ethical stance by employee as organizational representative. Employees are not seen by public as acting independently. Instead, their actions are interpreted as the action of the organization itself. This is especially true in high-risk, high-visibility industry like aviation. When passengers interact with flight attendant, pilot, or ground crew, they are experiencing United Airlines in practice, not just as a brand or corporation. Therefore, employee decisions signal what the organization truly values. Their behavior reflects training, leadership expectation, and corporate culture. During a turbulence crisis, employees have limited time, so their actions shape public trust in the organization acting and responsibility with high stress and real safety risks. If employees behave responsibly and ethically, it will reflect the organization prioritizes customer safety and dignity, which making sure that passengers are not physically or emotionally harmed. It also including protect them from injury, fear, and unnecessary harm. Training and procedures shape ethical outcome. As you can see, an employee need to rely on organizational training and procedure. If crew follow safety protocol, it will reflect that United Airlines has invested in safety training with clearly communicated ethical priorities and empowered employees to act decisive for passenger welfare. The employees are trained to prioritize rule and operational efficiency and resolve booking quickly. Yet, they lack of ethical that lead to employees to make poor moral decisions under pressure. Ethical responsibility goes beyond following rules. Flight attendant quick action like securing cabin and assisting the injured mirror United's training emphasis on human welfare over rigid compliance. In the incident, one attendant suffered a broken arm, yet the team maintained the order that show a culture that value live alongside rules. This response built trust, contrasting past ethical lapses like the 2017 passenger removal. In the United Air incident 2017, employees applied company rules to remove passengers from overbooked flight, while the action followed procedure.
Okay, so for question 750, How might United Manager encourage employees to be more responsible and ethical, even when rules must be followed? Okay, so for my answer, it will be how United Manager can encourage responsible and ethical behavior. So there are 5 examples that I will to give to you guys. The first one is leading by example. Manager must consistently demonstrate ethical conduct in their own decision and interaction. The second one is explaining the purpose behind the rules, like helping employees understand why rules exist, like safety, fairness, and legal protection. The third one is providing ethical training, using the real scenario to teach them why the rules is important, or employ how to balance the rules with ethical judgment. The fourth one is encouraging open communication, allowing employees to raise concern, question decision, or report on any ethical behavior without fear of retaliation. So an employee can be more open to manager, yeah, to communicate why the rules must be followed. Okay, for the last one will be the rewarding ethical behavior, recognizing employees who act with integrity, not just who meet performance goal. So we giving reward to who act with integrity, not just by performing, just giving a performance goal.
Assalamualaikum and hi. My name Nurifa Najra binti Muhammad Noor with matrix number 25004054. Now, I will be presenting case study 2 Leave Out Summary. NASA has a long history of major achievement in space exploration. Its strategic vision emphasizes advancing scientific and technological frontier for the benefit of humankind. To support this, NASA emphasized knowledge management to ensure future missions succeed. In a learning organization, sharing information and collaborating across the entire organization is critical, and NASA takes this seriously. However, after the end of the Space Shuttle program in 2011, NASA faced an identity crisis, which led to the new goals such as reaching Mars by 2030. The organization's complex environment made comprehensive knowledge sharing a significant challenge. That's why effectively managing vast knowledge resources is essential for achieving future mission. To facilitate this, NASA employed diverse online tools, case study, and expert network. Leadership also recognized that the organization structure must support efficient knowledge management. Finally, NASA vision drives all management decisions regarding future project and mission. In summary, NASA focused on knowledge, collaboration, and a clear vision ensure it remained the leading learning organization in space exploration. That's all. Thank you. Let's proceed to the discussion question.
Hello, my name is Hazel and I'll present question 716 for case study 2, Liftoff. So as for my answer to the question, yes, I do think that NASA is a learning organization, and I'll explain why right after I explain what exactly is a learning organization. A learning organization is an organization that has developed the capacity to continuously learn, adapt, and change. And now moving on to my main points. First is organizational design. In a learning organization, it's crucial for members to share information and collaborate on work activities throughout the entire organization. And in a boundaryless environment like NASA, employees are free to work together, share knowledge, and learn from each other. As the case study highlights, NASA manages a vast array of knowledge resources and encourages collaborations across teams rather than working in isolation. Next is information sharing. This is crucial because learning can't take place without information, and for an organization to learn, information must be shared among their members, which means the employees in NASA must engage in knowledge management by sharing information openly and in a timely manner as accurate as possible. For example, in NASA's case study, the organization actively manages its vast knowledge resources by sharing information across project teams and the entire organization. NASA uses knowledge sharing activities such as collaboration tools and documented lessons learned from their past missions, which allows their employees to access and apply that knowledge into their work. This shows that information sharing at NASA supports continuous learning and improvement. Okay, next, my third point is leadership. Leadership plays an important role as an organization moves towards becoming a learning organization. One of a leader's most important function is to facilitate the creation of a shared vision for the organization's future and to keep the organizational members working towards that vision. In addition to that, a leader should also support and encourage the collaborative environment that's crucial to learning, which is exactly how NASA's organization works and how they are able to work well. And the NASA organization shows that they understand the structure well, because without that strong and committed leadership throughout that organization, it would be extremely difficult to become a learning organization. Next is organizational culture, where everyone agrees on a shared vision, and everyone recognizes the inherent interrelationships among the organization's processes, activities, function, and external environment. It also fosters a strong sense of community, caring for each other, and trust. For example, after the devastating Columbia shuttle accident in 2003, NASA reviewed technical and cultural factors that affected decision-making and communication. As a result of this, NASA started encouraging open communication and rewards those who report safety concerns while also sharing information and lessons across teams. This shows NASA's culture of trust and continuous learning in the organization. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Alicia Christina, and I'll be presenting question 717. I'll be explaining in what ways NASA environment is complex. As we all know, NASA operates in one of the most challenging and demanding environments in the world, and this complexity can be seen in several key areas. First, technical complexity. NASA works with highly advanced and cutting-edge technologies. This includes spacecraft systems, robotics, satellite technologies, and even deep space communication. These systems must function perfectly in extreme conditions, such as outer space, where repairs are often impossible. Because of this, NASA requires highly specialized knowledge, constant innovation, and even precise engineering, which greatly increases the level of complexity in its operation. Second, high in risk. NASA missions involve extreme high risk. Many missions include human astronauts, very expensive equipment, and significant national investment. Even a small error can lead to mission failure, loss of life, and even massive financial loss. Therefore, NASA must follow strictly safety standards, detailed testing procedures, and accurate decision-making, which adds pressure and complexity to the working environment. My third point is organization complexity. NASA has a highly specialized and diverse workforce. It includes scientists, engineers, astronauts, contractors, and managers working across different departments, projects, and locations. Coordinating these experts and ensuring effective communication and knowledge sharing is challenging, especially when multiple teams must work together on the same mission. In conclusion, NASA's environment is complex due to advanced technology, high level of risk, and organizational structure. All these factors combined make NASA one of the most complex organizations to manage and operate. Thank you, that is all for me. Now I'm going to pass to my next member.
Hi again, my name is Hazel and I'll present for question 718. How does complexity affect structural choice? First, based on the case study, NASA operates in a highly complex and uncertain environment. Its future missions involve space exploration, advanced technology, and has high levels of risk, which makes planning and control even more difficult compared to normal organizations. Other than that, NASA also works with very specialized and advanced technology, and because of this, work cannot be managed through simple routines, and knowledge from experts is required. In addition to that, NASA operates mainly through projects and missions, such as space launches, research programs, rather than repetitive daily tasks. Another point for complexity is the number of stakeholders involved. NASA works with internal teams across many different departments, as well as external stakeholders such as government agencies, contractors, and international partners, which increases their coordination challenges. And because of the high level of complexity, NASA's structural choices are affected. because there's a greater need for communication and coordination across different teams and projects to assure work is aligned and information flows effectively and smoothly as possible. As a result from this, NASA relies more on flexible and decentralized ways of working, so decision-making is often pushed closer to experts and project teams instead of being fully centralized at the top, because those at the top may not have the technical knowledge needed compared to the experts to make the right decisions. And finally, NASA's structure supports knowledge sharing and learning across the organization. This is important in a complex environment like NASA, as learning from past missions helps improve future performance and reduces the risk. And that's all from this question. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Nurifa, and now I'll answer the question 719. Using Exhibit 712, what suggestion would you make to managers at NASA about being a learning organization? As you can see, I've included Exhibit 712 on the slide just for reference. First, NASA should implement boundaryless design. This means breaking down silos, so teams share information and collaborate openly. Using cross-functional teams bring together different expertise for complex missions, and giving employees more autonomy encourage creativity and confident problem solving. Next, fostering a culture of trust and community is essential. People need to feel safe admitting mistakes or asking for help, especially in high-risk work. A shared sense of purpose, like contributing to the benefit of humankind, keep everyone aligned. Open conversation about challenge and failure turn mistakes into valuable lessons for improvement. Third, effective information sharing is key. NASA should ensure tools, video libraries, and case studies are accurate and accessible. Integrating the lesson learned process into daily work help prevent repeated errors, and training or rotating programs spread knowledge quickly across teams. Finally, collaborative leadership ties it all together. Leadership promotes a shared vision, model teamwork, and active listening, and recognize collaborative effort. This strengthens the learning culture and motivate employees to continuously improve. In summary, by focusing on boundaryless design, trust and community, effective information sharing, and collaborative leadership, NASA can continue achieving its ambitious goals as a learning organization. That's all from me, and that's all from our group. Thank you so much for watching until the end. Have a nice day.